next topic is nuclear stability. Stability of the nucleus can be explained with the ratio between the number of neutrons to the and number of protons, and in the short form we can call it as a n by phi ratio. First we will find the n by phi ratio of a particular nuclide, then the n by p ratio which is equals to the 1, which is having equals to the 1, then it is going to be a stable one. And if n by p ratio is equals to 1, then it is a stable one, very stable or a stable one. If n by p ratio is greater than 1.5, it will be there, then it is highly unstable, which is highly unstable. Immediately it emits the certain radiation, and such elements are called as radioactive elements. So the nucleus of a particular atom of an element which is having the n by p ratio is greater than the 1.5, then it is a highly unstable one. It emits the radiation. Such elements are called as radioactive elements. Alright. So the atoms of an element which is having the number of neutrons equals to number of protons, that is equal, that such elements are going to be stable in nature. Or we can tell that the atoms of an element which is value is nearly equals to the 1, whose n by p ratio value is nearly equals to 1, then it is going to be more stable, right? So here I will take some example to understand n by p ratio, and here I am taking there is 20 calcium, there is 40, it will be there, and here this is atomic number is particularly atomic number Z. This is a symbol of the element, and 40 is a mass number, and which is simply representing as a ZXA, right? Z is atomic number, X is a symbol of the element, A is the mass number. Okay, so number of atomic number is nothing but number of electrons equals to number of protons. So that number of protons is equals to here 20 is there, and number of neutrons equals to, that is 40 minus so 20, that is equals to, here it is 20, both are 20, so that it's a n by p ratio equals to 1, then it is more stable one, whose n by p ratio is equals to 1, so that it is a stable nuclide, right? And other one is suppose I will take another example here. There is 92 uranium 235 is another example. 92 uranium 235, and here number of protons is equals to 92 is there, and number of neutrons is equals to 235 minus this is 92. From this you will get 143, and here n by p is simply I can write here it is 1 by 43 by 92, and you will get this is 1.55, that is greater than the 1.5, highly unstable one, and immediately there is it emits the radiation, and such element is it's a radioactive element. I'm going to discuss about this atomic models, and atomic models is nothing but atomic models is simply the arrangement of the fundamental particles of an atom. What are the fundamental particles of an atom? Are they electron and proton and neutron are generally called as fundamental particles of an atom. These fundamental particles of an atom are the arrangement was given by the different scientists, and the first scientist who has given the atomic model is J.J. Thomson, and atomic models is nothing but the atomic model is the arrangement of subatomic particles or fundamental particles of an atom. Inside of the atom is it's atomic models. What are the subatomic particles? Are they electron, proton and neutron are called as the subatomic particles of an atom. and this arrangement how they have arranged internally to explain the structure. There is a different scientists have proposed the different atomic models. In that first one is J.J. Thomson atomic model, and J.J. Thomson is designed the atomic model with only there is two fundamental particles of an atom, that is an electron and proton. When he was designing the atomic model, at the time only two fundamental particles are known, that is one is an electron and other one is a proton. So according to this J.J. Thomson, atom is a spherical shape containing one. Atom is a spherically shaped, and in which there is a positively charged species are uniformly distributed, and whereas a negatively charged species electrons are embedded like seeds embedded in the watermelon. In the same way, these electrons are embedded inside of the atom, right? So in this spherical shape only, these all the electrons are embedded like a seeds embedded in the watermelon, and that's the reason this is compared with the watermelon. No? So Thomson model, it is also called as a, which is a watermelon model of an atom, watermelon model of atom, or it is also called as a Flum-Fudding model of an atom. It is also called as a Flum-Fudding model of an atom. Flum-Fudding model of an atom, right? The whole mass is uniformly distributed throughout this spherical shape only. The whole mass of this particular atom is uniformly distributed throughout this spherical shape, right? So that is in a simply atomic J.J. Thomson atomic model. This atomic model also will have the certain drawbacks. The drawbacks of J.J. Thomson atomic model. The first drawback is so these atomic subatomic particles like electron and proton, they have arranged. These electrons are the generally negatively charged particle. This electron also a negatively charged particle. Whenever this negatively charged particle are arranged inside of the atom, definitely they will have that one kind of repulsive forces. So that repulsive forces repelling each other, so that they are moving away from each other. But as all we know that atom is going to be a stable one. That means the major drawback is we cannot able to explain the stability of the atom, right? So later whatever the Rutherford model is given the explanation, so in that explanations was not supporting this particular Thomson model, right? And other one is here we can say that there is another subatomic particle, neutron, is not arranged here. That is also another drawback of a J.J. Thomson model, right?